recently started, I believe it's day 4 now, of sending myself messages at the end of the night for me to wake up to in the morning. And I use those messages kind of as a way of giving myself motivation in the morning. And it's interesting as to how close to the time I go to bed when I send that message, how it wakes me up in the morning, and what time of day it is when I send it. So the first one I sent, I believe I told you guys, the first one I sent, it's like I had to remind myself to send it. And so it was like right as I was almost asleep, and it was just a do it thing, you know? It wasn't a high quality thing. It's like, you know, the first time you're doing something, somebody's like, yeah, just go run a mile. That first mile you run, you're like, this is pointless. This road, especially if the first mile you run is on like a track. First mile you run is on a track, you're like, I'm back here again? Like, it's difficult to kind of convey to yourself the reasoning and the direction that you're taking. However, if you continue to do it, there are rewards. So my first wake-up call was just a hey, just do it. And so I got out there, I did it, woke up to it. It was quite entertaining to me to see myself that late at night talking to me about the previous day. I've done it a few times now, different times of the day, and just sent it to myself and just woke up in the morning and look at it. So it has been rewarding. It has been rewarding in the sense of it is a habit that I'm creating to remind myself that I am serving a purpose. I'm doing this work for a reason. I am connected to my bigger purpose, my calling, and understanding that I am preparing myself every time I make one of these videos, and every time I watch one of these videos, I am preparing myself for the process that I'm continuing to take. Because when I stop to make a video, I have to look into my future, and I have to say to myself, you're gonna be here. You're gonna be here eventually. You're gonna be somewhere in the future where this is gonna be a part of it. And then when I watch that video in the future, I have to understand that I took that time to stop and speak with myself, to prepare myself, to condition myself for what is coming. And I'm now at that point where that thing is happening. And I can continue to move forward and work. So that is a big part of what I've been doing recently. I've been finding it very rewarding. I've been finding great value in connecting with and motivating myself and preparing myself. Like I said, it's like a journal. They're not long. None of the videos are more than like, I don't know, maybe a little bit longer than a short, maybe somewhere between 15 to 30 seconds, but it's a short to myself about myself, you know, supporting me, encouraging me, just giving me additional confidence and understanding. What do we have down here? We have Al. Al says, what is more accurate? Representation of who you are, what you force yourself to do, or what you naturally want to do? Okay, that is, let me see, that's 3 questions, right? That's 1 question, but it's 3 options that we have in there. That's a pretty good question. Are you still there, Al? How do you, that's strategic Al. All right, strategy. Is it okay if I call you strategy? Strategic Al, is it okay if I call you strategy? Are you still there? Because I would love to, yes, okay, there you are. All right, so your question is, what is more accurate? Representation of who you are, what you force yourself to do, or what you naturally want to do? what is more accurate? I believe, so if we talk, let's take them one by one to figure it out, right? Representation of who you are, right? Is that your representation of who you are? Because if we look at the representation, that's the outward. That's what other people see, right? Right, so that's your rep, right? So what other people see, Myron Golden, and I listen to Myron Golden quite a bit. Myron Golden has this thing where he says, no person can consistently act in a way that's inconsistent with their programming, which means if you are if you're a builder, right? If who you are in nature is a builder or a person who looks to grow, that's your nature, you cannot consistently act against it. So if you find yourself in a job, in a relationship, in a situation where you are asked constantly to tear down, you cannot do it with consistency. That's the first part. So that's your rep. So your reputation is what other people see of you. It's less of what you present. So representation is outward. The next one is going to be who you force yourself, or what you force yourself to do. Now, again, you cannot consistently act in a way that's inconsistent with your programming, right? So you can't force yourself to do something. You can condition yourself to do something, because when you try to force yourself to do something, you will be in conflict with yourself, right? And that conflict, again, will be a part of what will represent. It's what will show up, right? So that's how we develop. So that's discipline. Discipline doesn't force you to do something, because discipline has to have a purpose. So if you have a purpose and you're working towards something, discipline is something that you do to help achieve that. And that's an internal thing, right? So that's not a force, but it does take work. It does take effort. And then the final thing is what you naturally want to do. What you naturally want to do is just humanity. That's just human, like, right? That's just the animal in us. So we naturally want to breathe. We naturally want to be a part of a pack. That's nature. That's built into us, right? And so when we look at these three things and we ask the question that you asked, which one is most accurate? The most accurate for people who see you as who you are is representation. That is the most accurate form of that. The most accurate form of who you want to be in your life and who you choose to be is conditioning. That's the second part. It's who you discipline yourself to be. And then the most accurate form of who you are in nature is who you are in nature. So that's accurate into the sense of, do you eat? Do you walk? Do you speak? That's natural, right? Those are the natural things you want to do. It's different. So I have a way of putting it when there's a difference between your calling and your purpose. So if what you mean by what you naturally want to do, if we're talking about what you're best at doing, right? If we're looking at it as what you're best at doing, then that can be your calling. That doesn't make it your purpose, because your calling may be what you do best and enjoy best doing, but that's for you. That's your talent. That's your gift. That's what you have. That's what you use on a regular basis. But your purpose your purpose is different, because your purpose is what you leave behind, right? So purpose is something that when you do what you do, right? You have a lot of athletes, and there was a long time in the United States where it was this whole thing of, I want to control people. I don't know where that bug was that just made that sound, but it got a response from me. So, what was I saying? Don't know if y'all saw my face looking for that bug, how big my eyes got. But there is a there's a natural talent. And there was a time in the United States where for star athletes, where the focus was, how do you feel as a role model? And many athletes were like, I'm not a role model, right? Nike even ran a whole program where they had these basketball players, and I believe it was Charles Barkley who they had put at the forefront, come out and make statements like, I'm not a role model. It is not, sorry about that, turned the light all the way off, I disappeared. So where they came out and they were like, I'm not a role model. It's not my job to raise your children. But that's purpose. That's different from calling. So just because you can dribble a basketball, just because you can make a lot of money in sales, if you're a great salesperson, just because you have the patience to sit down with children and educate and be a teacher, just because that's your calling or that's where your talent is, that's not necessarily your purpose, because your purpose is what you leave behind. So the most accurate representation of who we are, or the way you worded it was, what's more accurate representation, discipline, who you discipline yourself to be, or what you naturally do. The most accurate representation is going to be the representation, is what others see, right? So what is more accurate? What's going to be most accurate for the world is what they see of you, right? Because you can't fake it. Like, there's this thing about not being able to fake it, and you can't, right? As a personal trainer, I went out and I had a method of being a personal trainer. It's the same way I spoke to people as a manager. It's the same way I spoke to people as a tutor. It's the same way I spoke to people when I trained them for their careers. It's the same way I spoke to people in my daily life. It's the same way I engaged and I spoke as a poet, because it is the part of my essence that's real, and I can't fake that. So it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what area you discipline yourself in. It doesn't matter what your specific calling may be. The best and most accurate thing about who you are, the most accurate way to be identified, is how others see you. And here's why this is important for us to receive feedback, is because we will do that regardless. You can't fake it forever. This is why YouTube and all these personalities are currently going through something called rebranding, right? Because they found out that what they're doing is for money, right? And so if your focus is to make money, if the audience change or where the money is coming from changes, it is incumbent upon you to change to speak to the audience. So you have to rebrand yourself. You have to, they have whole companies that make millions of dollars on rebranding, not only companies, but individuals. You need to have a different way of representing yourself. People have to have a new vision of you. And so there's this attempt to control the narrative. And then there's just you, right? And who you are is who you're gonna be, right? And so I don't know if you're still there. Was it strategic? Yeah, strategy. I'm not sure if you're still there, strategy, but it's honestly gonna be who you are when the world sees you. If they see you enough, they're gonna see you. They're gonna stop seeing who you've pretended to be. They're gonna stop seeing, and you're gonna start to come out. So, my brothers and I, growing up, one of our brothers has a way of acting, and we will all talk about when we would discuss like our personal behaviors and our interaction with each other, there was an understanding, and this brother is in on a conversation, there's an understanding that his behaviors were consistently inconsistent. And so we could trust that he would be consistent about something, just not for a long time. And so he would be consistently inconsistent. And so he would have this thing that he would focus on, and he would make it the thing that's most important to him to think about, to talk about, and to do, but he wouldn't do it consistently, right? So I'm gonna go back. I hope that answered your question, Strategic. I know I went on for a while, but I think that was a really good question. David says, I remember when he said that, he's right. Good role model is someone with excellent character. Correct. Rich, famous athlete doesn't mean you're a good role model. It does not. Someone with good character isn't concerned with branding. Just be you. That is very true, David. I can't care how anyone sees me. Only God, pleasing God, supersedes all else. It does. And then it gives you an understanding of your work and your purpose. Now, why does this matter, right? The question that you ask, why does it matter? I hope it matters because it lends the new word on YouTube, the new branding on YouTube. Can anybody tell me, anybody out there can share with me, what is the new branding on YouTube? What is the big thing for all creators to be, right? All creators need to be this now. The community is looking for, and we're building a platform where everyone can go out there and they can just be themselves. And what everyone is looking for is, someone knows what that word is. Someone knows what it is because it's how they want to brand people now. It's the big word on, this is what everyone is looking for. This is why such and such is so popular, because when you look at them, you can see that this is the blank version of them. Let me see, it says, passed down. Could you please tell me what you're talking about? Yes, it's in the title. We're talking about the confidence of conditioning, but I just finished answering the question a little further up. If you go look at Strategic Al, we were talking specifically about what's the most accurate view of yourself. David, YouTube, who cares about YouTube? True, who cares about YouTube, but it's very popular. You care enough to be here, you asked the question, David, but they have a new term, and this goes specifically to what you were just saying about what everyone wants to brand themselves and how everyone wants to see themselves. Clark Kent, good enough for heaven. Ever lied or stolen before? Ever cursed, ever lusted or hated anyone before? Strategic Al, what about internally though? In that example, personal desires often conflict with natural inclinations. Good answer though, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna come back to answer that. I wanna read a couple more. Clark Kent said, we broke God's laws, but Jesus paid our fine. Turn or burn, all right? Passed down said, thank you. Branding is evil. And welcome Rich to the conversation, everyone. The Greater Conversation said hi. All right, so I'll explain to you what it is. And David, this is gonna apply to everything you said, to everyone else as well. The new thing is authenticity. The new thing is you need to be authentic, right? YouTube started out with authenticity. It was just somebody that had the ability to come out and just post something where other people could find it, right? It started out with, hey guys, this is me, I'm at my house, hanging out, woo! Everybody just wanted to be seen. It was a platform where people could be seen. A lot of people tried to copy it. They tried to change it. They tried to create little ways to make it interesting. It's just a follow-up, right? And so YouTube and the way that it was created, it was just a way for people to be out there and be in front of people. That was authenticity. There was no editing. There was no, the major players hadn't gotten into it yet to understand or see its value. But then once the value started to come in, people started to say, hey, let's put money into it. So we can make money by putting content up, and we can push products, we can push ideals, we can push information, we can be the force, right? And so then things started to become very curated, very managed. They started to have the things in them that people weren't aware or weren't expecting to see. And then it moved into this scripted space where it was supposed to be unscripted. And then from there, it continued to grow. And now we're at this point where everybody's like, well, we need to rebrand. You need to be authentic, right? So what is authenticity? Who are you really? Can you sit down? Can you cry in front of the camera? Can you let people into your house? And so we start watching these real world soap operas of people who we think the term IRL was created in real life, but it had nothing to do with real life. They still have houses now where they have cameras set up in the houses where they have these young people, and it's feeding into the hedonism. I don't really know how to say that word, but it feeds into the lust and the most carnal aspects of humanity to peek in on someone's life. And the people can't even respond to you, but it's all scripted. You're all given the time. And so we started to live in this world where they're like, you need to be in this room with this person for 3 hours. This is where you make your money. Nobody cares who wins the show, but we found that we get the most people watching and we make the most money and we get the most comments when you and that person are in the room sitting next to each other. That isn't authenticity, but is it what we're really asking for? So to go back to what we were saying earlier, all of this is about how people can pretend to be someone, but only for so long, right? We have a tendency to think through movies we know people because of the characters that they play, and we're like, oh, that is so great. I grew up watching Andy Griffith. This is how old I am. Some of you people are like, who are you talking about? Andy who? Andy didn't have a last name. He was a toy in a cartoon movie. No, Andy Griffith was a real person from a fictional town called Mayberry. Guess what? They created a town. They went to a town in the Carolinas and decided that they're gonna live as Mayberry. There is no actual Mayberry, North Carolina. At any rate, this is what I mean about we assume or we want to believe that what we see on TV and on YouTube is real because it gives us a certain degree of comfort. So when we go back and we take a look at these times, we take a look at these people, we take a look at what's in front of us, we take a look at how it impacts us, we think we know someone. Andy Griffith grew up as this all-loving, open-hearted 1950s police sheriff in a town who didn't carry a gun, cared more about people than he did about any particular political view, blah, 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 blah. All right, why is this important? Because it created a safe space for people's hearts and minds when he came on television. And also, it created a space for them to be able to sell things, okay? To be able to market, to be able to make money. Later in his life, he made a movie where he was a racist judge. I knew people who were 20 years younger than me. And I've spoken with them, and all they know of him, and there goes my gimbal real quick, all they know of him is that movie. They can't stand the person because they believe that the movie is representation of who he is. I've seen the interviews. I know where he comes from. I have access to the background. So I have a better idea of who he is, even though I don't know him personally. However, it didn't match with who he was and the branding for the Andy Griffith Show. Why is this important? Because when we're young and we're being conditioned, we don't know what to look for. I didn't know what to look for. That's what rebranding is. Rebranding is to say, hey, this is what we think you are. This is going to be the different. They did it with a girl who was supposed to be some cleaning girl. She did these commercials many, many years ago, did these commercials in between the shows where she was this nice, all-American girl, and she did, I don't know, I think she sold soap or something, and then somebody convinced her to do porno and gave her a lot of money for doing this porno tape. And the money that was made from it wasn't because everybody was like, oh, we love porno. It's because they had created this image of this woman and then they went so far from it. And now all your artists do it. All of your artists that start off as children, and this is feeding to the most base carnal nature of human beings. If you start an artist off as a child and you watch that child grow up in front of you, now they're like, okay, well, this child that you watched that was cute is a woman. You started watching this child at 30. You've been watching this 12-year-old since you were 30 years old. Now all of a sudden, this 12-year-old child is 10 years later, is 22, and you're like, oh yeah, man, that's what's up, right? That's conditioning. That is a purposeful thing. That is an action that's taken intentionally, and it's called branding. Conditioning, there is confidence in it. And the reason I'm sharing this morning is because we have to understand when we're being conditioned. It's like Pavlov's dog. Bell rings, it's time to eat. Doesn't matter what's in there when the bell rings. It is time to eat. The longer it goes in between the time when the bell rings, the less control the animals have over themselves when the bell rings. It is about consumption. What do we have in here? We have Passed Down said, when I say branding is evil, YouTube started out with good intentions. Then monetary gain came, and the more people watch, the more the enticement of advertising came to play. Look at TLC. Bro, literally TLC, it impacts people that aren't paying attention. Passed Down, a good example for your case, the Champion brand. I remember it being $5 for a shirt. Now it's upwards of 1,000. True, right, because what did they find out? They found out that our brand isn't cheap because our brand isn't cheap because of the materials it's made with, because we make everybody else's stuff, right? The same factories that produce Champion stuff also produces Nike stuff and Adidas stuff. We make everybody's stuff, but we just brand it under their name. They don't have factories to make it. But because we make it and we own the material, it costs pennies to make it. And so we say, we're gonna give you high quality stuff at a lower price. And they found out people don't want low price stuff. They think it's cheap. We get it, we understand. It's a high quality product. It's the same product as the Nike swoosh, Adidas and Reebok. It's actually higher quality. We get it. You're making it yourself, but you're selling it for 10 bucks. Nobody wants a $10 sweatshirt. Sell a sweatshirt for $50, like everybody else. It took a while because the people who remembered when Champion was $5 is like, I'm not paying $50 for a Champion sweatshirt. And then you had to let that generation pass and you branded it for the next generation. Levi Strauss. Anybody know how much a pair of Levi jeans can go for? They have different colored labels. It was rebranding. Levi Strauss were work clothes. They were denim. They were designed specifically for their durability so that people who had to ride horses and work in dirt and didn't get to wash their clothes couldn't walk around in little fine linen suits or whatever they had. They had to have something that could last, something that could be patched, something that could stay around for a while. They couldn't work in canvas and burlap. It damaged the skins, so they came up with denim jeans. And this is why you now have an entire industry of jeans. So this is the thing that I'm trying to say is, there is a confidence in conditioning. Conditioning takes time. And so when we talk about who you are inside, as Strategy asked before, we talk about what we see. We talk about the people in front of us. There is a requirement for us to really, one, be self-aware, right? So we have to be aware of who we are, and then we also have to be accountable for who we are. We have to accept that there's an accountability process for the person that we choose to be, how we choose to be, how we choose to act. Definitely a requirement for accountability, guys. There is a confidence in conditioning. And you can be conditioned, you can condition yourself, or you can be conditioned by others. You go out and you run, and when you run, right? When people run distance, here's the thing. If you've been on this channel more than twice, you've probably heard me say, I am not a big fan of running, right? This goes back to the thing that Strategy asked before about who you force yourself to be. I am not a big fan of running. I do it occasionally, and I don't like it any of the time that I do it. It is not, it is not enjoyable to me, but I do it because I understand it has value. But I also understand that I'll use it in different areas of my life. There's confidence in conditioning. And so when it becomes time for you to use that conditioning that you've built, that understanding that in this situation, I can do this thing, it breeds a confidence to step out there and do it. And so you can be conditioned by others. When you're conditioned by others, this creates societies and it creates mechanisms that people can walk away from and they don't have to worry about it anymore. The conditioning of subscriptions. When subscriptions first started, oh Jesus, this is how old I am. When the concept of subscriptions came out for music, I was like, this is stupid. Do you know how many CDs I own? Because I couldn't remember when my parents had 8 tracks, right? I couldn't remember when they used the stereo phone, right? I couldn't remember that. I couldn't recall that. And because I couldn't recall it, I had nothing to base myself off of seeing industries die. Someone had a belief that we can condition people and we can create a space where this becomes antiquated and we can change the world. I'm like, I am not doing that. And they started off with selling you songs for $1. And you were like, wait a minute. I can go to the store and buy this album, this CD, this cassette tape. Some of y'all are like, none of these words are real. These are real words, people. These used to be things. Compact disc. I could go buy this thing for 20 bucks. I could buy it for 20 bucks, or I could pay $1 for it. The album that I'm buying for $20 has 16 tracks on it. I'm paying $20 on it plus tax. It only has 16 tracks on it, and only 4 of them are any good. There's a single, and there's a couple of ones that you would notice if you heard them, but all 16 of these songs aren't good on here. Why am I paying $20 for it when I can just get the good songs? The ones I want to hear, the ones that they play, I could just pay $5 and get the good songs, $1 each. Oh man, that just makes more sense. I'll go you one better. You just give me $10 a month. I'll let you listen to all of them. I believe it started off less than that. I believe it started off somewhere around like $3 to $5 a month. I'll let you listen to all of them. You don't own them, but you have a phone now, or you have a MP3 player, which was a short-lived thing, right? You can get one of those, and you can listen to your music on there. Why is this important? Because we're talking about conditioning and the confidence that comes with it. There's a confidence that comes with understanding if I do this thing long enough, regardless of what the immediate return is right now, if I do this thing long enough, I can change people. And so when we talk about things like systemic racism and injustices, and we talk about dictatorships, and we talk about evil, and we talk about rebranding, and we talk about moving away from faith, all of this is based on conditioning. All of this is based on how can I condition you? How can I get your mind? How can I get your actions to be based off what I show you and what I say to you versus your critical ability to think about it and make the decision that's appropriate for you. How can I get you to just do what I want you to do? Right? This is important, people, and the reason this is important is because as a child of God and a man of faith who grew up with both my birth father, my stepfather, and my mom being ministers and preachers of the gospel in the United States, I understand when somebody stands in front of you, the power of it when someone says, Jesus is all, right? Anybody from the church in the South? We got about 30-some people in here right now. If you ever been to a church in the South, please give me the call back for this. When you go into church and the pastor's standing in the pulpit and he says, God is good, what's the response, people? What's the response to God is good? Let me see you put it in the chat. What's the response? It's a really specific American response to God is good, especially in the Southeast. There you go, you got it. My man passed down. My man Lincoln, is that linking or thinking? Inking, I think it's inking. Right, all the time, right? Passed down says, my dad used to rip CDs. Once we found TimeWire, my CD MP3 players had 150 songs of music I like, and my dad and my mom all on one CD. But at the time, computers were not hell of expensive, and he rightfully didn't. Right, he didn't digitize it, right? But in the South, they have the call out where they say, God is good, and we respond with all the time. And so when someone knows your password, this just came to me, guys. I gotta share it with you. I feel pretty good about this one. Let me know if I'm off the mark here. They say protect your password because when you don't protect your password, you don't have two-factor authentication. You know what two-factor authentication is? Is when somebody says something to you, it's that part of you that goes, really? That's two-factor authentication. We all got that. We all got that. Somebody tell you, man, hey, I got a deal for you. You give me $5, I'm gonna give you 50. Really? That's two-factor authentication. You gotta protect your password because when somebody knows your password, they know how to get into your operating system. They know how to get to your DOS prompt. I'm sorry, I'm old, people. Not everybody knows what a DOS prompt is. A DOS prompt is how you used to have to access a computer. You had to tell it where to go, what file cabinet to look in, what folder to look in, what file to find. And then you had to tell it to open it, and they all opened the same way. It was just words on the screen. It was just, oh man, I'm old. I apologize for that. Anybody who I offended by saying DOS prompt, I won't say it again. It's called your command screen now. It's something different, right? So here's the thing though, people. Here's the thing. Thank you very much for stopping in. Who's that? Marco. Thank you for stopping in, man. Contributed to the cause. So here's the thing, man. When someone knows your passcode, when someone knows your password, they have access to your operating system. When they have access to your operating system, they can get you to respond. It is the confidence of conditioning. It is the ability for someone to be able to say, oh, you like this when people say this, I'm gonna say this. I don't have to believe it. I don't have to be real about it. I don't have to have anything committed to it. However, if I say it enough times and I get you to believe it, right? This is the confidence of conditioning. If I condition you, if I give you the environment in which it's comfortable enough for you to accept, you will, and I'll get the return that I expect. It is the confidence of conditioning, because if you become comfortable with it and you understand it, like I said, it's like Pavlov's dog. The biggest way that they use it is they withhold it. Once they get you in a position, and they're like, you gotta have it. What happens if I take it away? What happens if I take it away just for, I don't know, Let's say I take it away for a couple of hours. I don't know how many of y'all got young kids and how many of y'all are young kids. I don't know how many of you like that. I don't know whose life is out there. I don't know the age of everybody in the audience. But if you have children, or if you're under the age of 25, let your internet go out on your day off for an hour. Watch the world stop. Watch people walk to the front door and look out the window. Is their internet out? Because mine, I can't get this thing to do nothing. Is right. That is the confidence of conditioning, because we've conditioned you. We've given you these great toys. We've given you all of these wonderful things where you can be anywhere and be anyone at any time you want to. But it's not yours. You don't have your own internet protocol. You don't have your own access to the World Wide Web. It's through us. You don't have your own secure link. You don't have your own way of getting to it. You have to pay us for it. Oh, and don't let it go down. Don't let it be a thunderstorm. Let it lose it. You done lost your mind. You don't know what to do. I got to deal with the real world. Do I got to go outside? What? I can't order my food to my door? What do you mean the delivery service is not currently available? I'm going to die in here. Only got 3 packs of chicken and a bag of potatoes left in there. How long is this thing going to be down? It is the confidence of conditioning. It's the confidence that if I can get you to believe and live in a certain way, I have the greatest control over you. And if I take it away from you for a second, you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. Hey, everybody, say thank you to Marco for stopping in. I appreciate him being here. Ryan, bless up, good man. Thank you very much. Pass down. If they have your phone number, photo, bank account, you're done, bro. DOS language is dead now. There's like 10 computer languages that I know that weren't there when I was a linguist. Indeed, Lincoln says they don't know how to look at a map or to go find something. We had to go outside growing up. You're telling facts. Right. Now, here's the thing. What's Gaming Quest saying? How do you deal with nudity online? What do you mean, how do you deal with nudity online, Gaming? How much nudity are you looking at? Here's the thing, guys. Here's what I want to tell you. I'm not mad at progress. Guess what? I have plenty of subscriptions. Plenty of them. Have more than I should. I'm knocking some of them out. My children have come to the point where they don't like to say anything. They jot down shows they watch and what platform they're on. Because if we have a subscription, I'm like, listen, what do you watch on this platform? Like, look, we got, for example, we got Disney. Hey, what shows you watch on Disney? Oh, no, listen, look. I watch all the Avengers and Marvels. I watch this one and this one, and I have this favorite show that I watch. And the show that comes out in another country that comes out on Disney first, they got a list. Because they know if I'm asking, I'm like, listen, I don't use it. And I'm not going to keep paying for it if it's not being used. So my children know. They were like, nope, I use that one. I use that one. I got these shows that I watch. Don't take that away. But here's the thing. I am not angry about the process. I am not angry about it because I'm understanding that there was a point when I was young and I had the ideas and I had parents and I had older people who told me that it was dumb, who told me it didn't matter. I'm old enough to remember the birth of hip hop and of rap and of its genesis. I can remember when it wasn't on radio stations. You couldn't find it. I grew up in it. I couldn't remember when the Temptations were underground. I couldn't remember when the bands that came before them had to be underground and had to put different things on their covers in order to sell. But I remember my time. And the thing that I realize is time is marching on. I can't hand my children my problems. I have to condition them to have confidence, to be able to decipher the difference between what they're being shown and what is actually happening, what is actually going on, what is actually real, and how to decipher it. right? So I'm not mad about the fact that the world is growing. I'm not mad about the fact that there are things out there. I'm not mad about the fact that there are subscriptions. I'm not angry about any of these things. This is the way of the world. We're growing. There will be something else. Trust me, there will be something else. It's at the point now where you can just tell AI, make me music in a certain way that I would like to listen to. Use these words in it, come up with a song. And it'll just create one for you. They ain't got nothing to do with nobody. It's just something you made up. That is fine. That's the way the world is going. What about the artists? What about the artists? What are you gonna do? You think they're gonna put it back in the box? Ain't nobody ever opened Pandora box and put nothing back in it. They don't. Why would you put it back in the box? It's out. Learn to live with it. It's what it is. So, what I'm saying, however, is we have to understand the confidence of conditioning, and we need to be able to identify when we're being conditioned. We need to be able to pick it up. We got about 39 people in the chat, guys. I want to take a moment. I'm not going anywhere, but I do want to say thank you for being here this morning. If you haven't had an opportunity yet, go ahead and smash that like button, double tap the screen, whichever one it is. Get a couple of likes in there. It does not cost you anything, doesn't cost you any money, barely cost you a second of your time. It's just a great way to say, hey, I've been here, I checked it out. If you read a comment, you heard a word, even if you had something to argue about, right? Any of those things, it would be great to just have you drop a comment, or drop a like in there. I'd appreciate it. All right, so what do we have here? How do you deal with nudity online? Stop looking up nudity online, gaming. Rich Ray said, I would love to just throw my phone in the trash. I'm sure at the end of the, of the rest of my life will be much better. I don't know. There's a lot of great things you could do on your phone. Don't be mad at the tool, right? They had this thing, what was this in this Spartan movie where he was like, well, don't be, certainly you won't be mad at the messenger, and he kicked the messenger in the hole. Don't be mad at the messenger. You still got to fight the war. Doesn't matter if you throw away your phone. You still have the content out there. It's still on screens. It's still on displays. They have moving billboards. It's still on television. It's still on tablets. Still people who are going to talk to you about it. Still places where people are stopping in the streets to watch televisions through the windows. It's out there. It's in front of you. It's not about throwing away the technology. It's not about throwing away the tool. It's about using it correctly, right? If your job is to build and all somebody gave you was a knife, don't be mad at the knife. Maybe your job was to make sandwiches. If your job is to make sandwiches and you show up at work the first day with a hammer, don't be mad at the hammer. There's control that we have. Don't be mad at the technology. You don't need to throw away your phone. You need to throw away conditioning that's set by someone else, and you have to start to condition yourself. Discipline is what does that. That's what we talk about here. That's what everything is about. It's about discipline. You can aim discipline at anything in your life, and it's not you forcing yourself to be something. It's you understanding the value of being something and you putting your time forward to be that, to let that be who you are. And you don't lose who you are learning to do something correctly. Discipline is how you learn to do things correctly, to do them consistently and get a return from it, right? So you don't have to throw away your phone. Don't throw away your phone, because then you're going to go buy another one. But learn to use it correctly. Find out what things are on there that are beneficial to you, what things have value. For example, if you weren't here earlier, Rich, what I said, one of the things I've started doing recently in this past week is I send myself a video at the end of the day about the next morning so I can watch it in the morning. So I can send myself a video about how did you do today? How did you feel today? What was good about it? And I just say it. I'm like, hey, today was good. Spent time with the wife, with the children. Worked on this program. Didn't go the greatest, but we're learning. Got into an argument with someone who could not hear me because I was in my car and we were both doing 70. So, but you made it through the day. You're continuing to grow, and you deserve everything that's coming for you. I appreciate you being a part of my future and a part of what's going to help me grow. Something like that. I say different things, but something along those lines to get myself ready for the next day, right? Even if it was a tough day, just something to get myself ready for the next day. That's phone. That's technology. So when you wake up in the morning, you're not going immediately to Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter finger, whatever is out there. You're not going straight to it. You're going to you, and you're getting something from you. The Bible app is on the phone. The Quran is on the phone. All biblical texts, any of them you want, they're on the phone. Communities that show support and truly care about your growth and development, they're on the phone. This YouTube app right here that when I'm reaching out and I'm speaking to people right now and we're sharing as a community is on the phone. Don't throw away the tool. You have to understand to not be Pavlovian in the conditioning so that someone else controls your response, right? You have to understand ESPN, Fox did this thing where they found that their most watched sport was American football, was the NFL. And they had this soundtrack for the NFL, this whatever it is. And they were like, everyone tunes in. We found out that everyone tunes in, they stop, and when they hear that to see what's going on. More people stop for that sound because they had a different sound for every sport. Like every sport had a different sound. And most people didn't stop for anything that wasn't that sound. And they found that this little flourish gets people to stop because it's the sound of American football. And so now they use that flourish for anything. Fox has changed, and that flourish, that little sound that you hear on Fox, was not initially designed to be that flourish for everything on Fox. But it is now, because everybody stops when they see it, at least long enough for Fox to tell them what's coming up, even if it's not football, right? They capture a larger audience share. That's conditioning. That's Pavlovian. I know it's conditioning, because guess what? I stop. It's not even football season. I'm a fan of American football. It's not even football season. But if I hear that flourish, what's that? What they got on in there? I'm walking through a Best Buy. That's not even, not even home. I'm just saying. So we have to learn to not have that Pavlovian response. And then let me see, Fred and Kelly King. We had to go outside, find something to do when was growing up to go play kick the can. Dude, listen, I'm not trying to go back to kick the can, but I get what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying. Yes, you used to entertain yourself by entertaining yourself. There weren't as many things in front of you to entertain you. But also, there were distractions. Do we have to understand how sedated our mind is to be entertained by kicking the can, right? Now we have the ability to stimulate our minds in so many ways. Here's the thing. You have to want that stimulation. You have to want that growth. For a long time, they said if you want to hide something from a black man, if you want to hide something from somebody black, put it in a book. Kevin Hart tells this joke about when he first started out, his mama said, I got you for the first year. All you gotta do is read your Bible. And the punchline is she put all of his checks in his Bible. If you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book. He didn't know that when he told that joke, that's what he was saying. That knowledge is freedom for people, not just black people, but knowledge is freedom. And we now have these devices that give us an unprecedented access to knowledge. But what are we using it for? Are we conditioned to go to the stimuli for the sensory, or are we conditioned to go find the information that's going to help us grow, right? I don't want to go back to kicking a can. I don't. I've kicked the can. Dude, no. I appreciate the access to the knowledge and the ability to grow. I welcome it. I love it. I accept it. Listen, you can't get mad at the tool. We have to that's one of the things about being self-aware and self-accountable is we have to understand that there's a large part of this that is our behavior. We have to take ownership of that. We have to accept that. We have to live with that. What do we have here? We have linking. I reach all three of mine as well. I teach them so when they get out, I think he's talking about his children, when they get out there in the world, doesn't confuse and chew them up. Home training, as my mother used to say. Indeed, home training. Red and Kelly, I got you. Thank you very much. Ryan Clifton, good morning, brother. Big ups. Rich Ray, yes, like crack. Electronic crack. You roll over, you start tapping that thing. Listen, listen. I can say this because I've experienced it. I am not one of these people out here like I got it all together. My life is perfect. No, man, I am a Dallas Cowboy fan. For anyone who knows anything about American football, I was born in 1972. I became a fan of the Dallas Cowboys because me and my brother were watching the Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl when I was really young. And I was born in Washington, D.C. The last thing I should have been was a Cowboys fan. We're watching Pittsburgh play the Dallas Cowboys, and at the beginning of the game, I said, let's choose a team. He said, okay. I said, I want the team with the star on the helmet. He said, okay. I said, who do you want? He's like, I don't know yet. And then every time one team would score, right? And he's my older brother. He's older than me by a year. Every time a team would score, he would pick whichever team was ahead. I want them to win. I was furious. Dude, you cannot do this. This is not how the world works. You have to get with something and commit to it. You can't go back and forth. Dude, I was upset. I was not happy about it. What are you doing? My brother knew then, at a young age, that my allegiance is not to the thing in front of me. It's to my victory. It's to my outcome. It's to me working towards my, man, we had to be 5 and 6 years old, maybe 4 or 5 years old. Like we were young. And I remember this because this is the reason I got angry and we lost. The Dallas Cowboys lost. I want to say this was 76, somewhere between 76 and 78. Young, and I was committed. I said, this is my team forever. I do not care. It doesn't matter how good they do. It doesn't matter how bad they do. This is my team, and we both developed a sense of something at that point in our lives. I developed a sense of loyalty and commitment in that moment that understood it doesn't matter how hard it gets. And dude, I'm 52 years old. I lived through some hard times. Do you understand? I lived through a time when the team that I loved and I was committed to had all of its star players and they were beat by janitors and grocery clerks during a strike season. I had to live through that. It's how I learned, it's how I grew. And my brother learned in that moment that my allegiance is not to something outside of me. My allegiance is to my victory, and I'll be damned, it doesn't matter what someone else says. I am working towards finding what's the right thing for me. Now, to go with that, this is also my brother that we call consistently inconsistent, but that's a completely different story. But what does this mean? What does this say to us? What does this tell me? The whole reason that I'm telling this story is because I want to go back to tell you I'm not perfect. I still pick up my phone. I check sports. I want to see who my Cowboys signed. I get it. I can watch videos and articles. You know what? I should probably be focusing on my thing right now. I probably should, but I'm dropping a few minutes right now. I'm consuming some time right now with this thing that interests me. I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. I understand the addiction of tapping the screen. I understand the addiction of wanting to see something entertainment. I understand how it works when we want to just be okay. I just want to be happy. Man, it's okay, I'm fine. I'm just riding the bus to work. I'm just watching a video. What's the problem? I don't understand. I understand that desire to just be happy. But I also can see how I've missed opportunities because of my inability to be self-aware and self-accountable. Because there are moments when that's what's required of us, and it's what we have to do. And so that's what you have to get up and do. That's how we have to stand up and show up for ourselves. Don't throw out the phone. Throw out the behavior. Fix the behavior. Condition ourselves so that we can be conditioned with confidence. So we get up in the morning and we understand that there's a purpose and there's work that we can do and there's ways to achieve it. Ryan Clifton said, facts, everything starts with you. Be accountable for your behavior and your actions. True. He said, let's get the likes up. I would appreciate that, guys. If you haven't dropped the thumbs up yet, I would appreciate it. If you heard anything, said anything, or read anything, I would love to get some thumbs up, guys. Thank you so much. I think that's what keeps breaking my gimbal, guys. Every time I put my thumb up, I tell it to go crazy. Burn the hate. Burn down hate indeed, man. Ain't no sense of walking around with hate. Let me see. Oh, this thing went completely off on me. What do we got? Thank you very much, Blackbird, for being here this morning. Dude, My phone said it was done. My little gimbal said it was done. Listen, I know, man. I know that we're out here. I know that we all have lives that we live. We all have goals. We should have principles and purpose that we work towards. And I appreciate the effort. I appreciate the support. I thank you guys a lot for being here, for taking this walk with me in the morning. I know that one of the big things that we're going to have to do if we want to see ourselves grow is we have to become familiar with what conditioning is. And then we need to start to condition ourselves so that we can work with the confidence of conditioning, so that we can go out and we can take care of our lives and live the lives we want to see for ourselves with confidence. And we do that by conditioning ourselves, by being there for ourselves, being self-aware and self-accountable. Discipline has 4 pillars, guys. This is from the very beginning of the start of this channel. I'm telling you, these 4 things can be applied to any area of your life, and it can help you start to see the conditioning that you're looking for. It doesn't matter if this conditioning is in your finances, in your job, in your relationships, in your faith. It doesn't matter. It starts with repetition. You have to start to do it on a regular basis. You just have to show up. You just have to start showing up. You want to be strong in your faith? Pick up your faith, pick up your Bible, pray, do it consistently. That's step 1. You do it on a regular basis. In Christianity, they say you should pray without ceasing. Always, you should constantly be in prayer. That's the repetition of just getting started. I don't know how to pray, then just talk. Just talk. It doesn't matter. You might start with just complaining. You might start with just saying. You might start with just saying thank you. It doesn't matter. But if that's what you're working on, if you're working on your spiritual development and your faith, you have to just start to show up. You have to be patient. You have to understand it's not instantaneous. It's not instantaneous. It requires for you to show up and do things. It's not going to be fixed this right now. Nobody ain't going to kick in your door and throw $300,000 in your lap and say all of your prayers are answered. Stop waiting for somebody. Stop waiting to win the lottery that you ain't going to play. You have to be patient. And then after you have patience, you have to have consistency. Consistency is when that repetition gets a plan. You start to put framework on it. I'm going to do more than pray. I'm going to read my scripture. I'm going to connect with others who are on the same journey. I'm going to learn. I'm going to understand. I'm going to stop being Pavlovian. I'm going to stop just throwing my money into the basket because they said it's time to collect the offering. Do you understand that tithes is 10% of what you make to go to the service of God's people? Not to go into the pocket of your pastor, not to fix the air conditioning. You don't have to drop your 10% in the basket for you to be serving God. I get a little heated when it comes to my faith, so I might turn a little bit into the preacher that my parents was when it gets to this point. But I hate people trying to play me by my faith. Are you a Christian? Does it matter? You can't tell? If you can't tell, I must not be Christian and right. So it doesn't take you going into some church and I can do it. I can shout. I can get the organ. I can clap my hands. I can yell hallelujah with the loudest of them. That don't make you no child of God. That don't make you no Christian. That don't make you connected with your faith. It's your walk. Are you walking it? Are you being conditioned by somebody to get a tambourine and slap your hands together? One of the first things you learn in Bible study, one of the first things you learn in Sunday school is the devil knew the Bible too. The devil was a freaking angel. You want to believe in the devil but think God is fake. You want to think that they ain't devils walking around in the pulpit. Y'all waiting for the end of the times thinking that the devil is going to come wrapped up in sheep's clothing. So you looking at every good pastor like he a bad person. And you looking at every bad pastor like they there to save your life. Come on. All I'm saying to you is this. You have to understand it starts with repetition, which is just showing up. Patience to understand it won't be done immediately. Consistency about developing a plan and a network of people to work with you and help you to achieve your goal. And the last thing is perseverance. And especially in faith, perseverance is what works on you. Perseverance is the thing when you're like, God, I don't know if I can make it another day. I don't know what to do. The kids aren't eating. I don't know what to do. The jobs aren't calling back. The bills keep piling up. I don't know what to do. And God is like, you have to get to your job. You have to get on your work. You have to do the things you're supposed to do. You need to stop eating out. You need to reduce your caloric intake. Your kids will have more food if you ate less. Don't get your feelings hurt. Don't get your feelings hurt. Maybe you don't need cable. Maybe all your children need is internet access to be able to access stuff for knowledge. Maybe you don't need all 259 channels on cable. Maybe your cable shouldn't be $280 a month. Maybe it should be $40. Maybe you don't need the newest phone. Maybe the phone they give you for free for $20 a month is the one you need right now. Maybe that's where you need to be. Stop asking God to answer prayers for behaviors you refuse to give up. If you apply discipline to any of these areas, apply it to your finances, apply it to your job, apply it to your fitness, apply it to your family. Be repetitious with your family. Care enough to show up and to be there and to know why you're showing up. Care enough to do it. And when you do this, it changes your life. You cannot impact one area of your life without impacting another. It is impossible. That's what we talk about here. It starts with you. I'm telling you, I grew up in a Pentecostal fire and brimstone church. I watched my daddy lay hands on people and watch them pass out. Right? I seen it. I lived it. But I have a responsibility to show up. I can't keep asking God to do things for me I'm not willing to do for myself. Oh, my job ain't fair. Your job is fair. You just don't go to work. You just get your feelings hurt too easy. You don't know what I'm dealing with. I don't need to. You do. That's the strength of knowing. That's the strength of you being conditioned versus somebody else conditioning you. Versus somebody else telling you they holding you back. They holding me down. Ain't nobody holding you down. Nobody care about your little $80,000 a year job. They find somebody else to replace you. Same way they can find somebody else to replace me. I worked in leadership with some of the biggest companies in this country. I've worked on the front line with employees, and one of the first things I tell them is, hey, you have value, but don't you ever think that you have so much value you can't be replaced. You can quit. Guess what? They're going to open tomorrow. They don't care. I've opened fast food restaurants on days when it snowed with me and one other person. I know. They don't care if you show up. They got somebody to replace you. Here's the thing. They already have an expectation that you're not going to show up. And even if you do, they know you don't work that good. Stop complaining about the fact you're getting a paycheck at a job you hate and you don't do it well. I said earlier on in this walk and talk, a person can never consistently behave in a way that is inconsistent with their programming. If you're programmed to be poor and to have a poor attitude and a poor mindset and to be undisciplined and to blame everybody else, if that's your programming, that's what your programming is. They understand, they don't get it. No, that's who Reggie is. No, we don't have to be mad. That's who Reggie is. That's who Stacy is. That's who Mike is. No, why are you getting upset? Don't be upset at them. Why be upset at them for being who they are? No, just put them in their place. Here's the thing, Reggie has that attitude. However, Reggie does a really good job cleaning the bathrooms. Yeah, I know, Rhonda's got that attitude, I know. But don't nobody else unload a truck like Rhonda. Can't nobody else get this stuff in here like Rhonda. Yeah, it's supposed to be 3 people back there, but can't nobody work with Rhonda. And she gets it done faster by herself anyway. No, relax, let Rhonda do it. It's okay. She gonna come bitch to you about it. Give her 30 minutes, don't worry about it. She finished the job an hour before she was supposed to anyway. You have to be accountable. You have to understand your purpose. What are your principles? What are you living up to? Where are you working towards? And then be accountable to yourself. And I'm telling you, it starts with discipline. And discipline is first the repetition. If you're tired of people saying that if you're tired of people telling you that you are consistently complaining and that they have difficulty working with you and you want to keep saying this to other people, take a moment and look at yourself and try to repetition. Stop complaining. Complaining ain't changed it. You've been complaining about it. You've been at this job for 12 years and you still complaining about the same thing. The girl that came in and you trained her, she done moved past you, went to another company, got another job. And you keep calling her talking about, girl, can I come work with you? And she playing games. The girl, you know they ain't got no space over here. Girl, you know they ain't hiring over here. No, don't nobody want you complaining somewhere else. I just got this job. Thank you for helping me get started. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for teaching me who not to be. Thank you for teaching me how not to act. You have to start to show up for yourself with repetition. You get up at 7 o'clock in the morning because you got to be to work at 8. And on your day off, you don't get up until noon. That's on you. You have to start to get up. You have to matter enough to you for you to start dealing with you with repetition. You have to start dealing with you with patience, understanding, I get it, I've done this for a long time and it hasn't gotten me anywhere, but I'm prepared to change, I'm prepared to grow, and I know I'm not gonna be perfect tomorrow. I know I'm gonna go in here and bitch at somebody about something, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it. That's that whole Christian song, oh please be patient with me. God is not through with me yet. You asking people to be patient with you because God ain't through with you, but you ain't working on your nasty attitude at all. Your stank attitude and the way you behave and your complaints, you ain't working on you at all, but you want everybody else to be patient with you, and you ain't did nothing you needed to do. You keep asking God to change you and you refuse to change. You still take the same actions and act the same way. You're gonna get the same results. That's not insanity, that's who you are. Strategic Owl asked at the beginning, which one of these are most accurate? It's the representation. Representation is what people see. And if you internalize it, it's who you are. You cannot consistently behave in a way that is inconsistent with your programming. But you can be reprogrammed. You can change, and it happens with discipline. You have to be self-aware and self-accountable. Take accountability for your actions. This is on me, I don't care what it is. And no, it is not easy. It is not easy. It's not gonna be fixed tomorrow. I don't care if you're addicted to chicken, chow mein, or pornography. I don't care what you're addicted to. Getting off of it is not gonna be easy. But you have to start to do the work. Ain't nobody else gonna change you. You have to start to work on the change. You have to have the repetition. You have to have the patience. You have to develop a plan, and a plan simply means I know where I'm going. So many people fail to reach their destination because they have no idea where they're going. You're running away from something, but you're not running to anything. I'm running away from being broke. What are you running to? I'm sick of being broke. Then what do you want to be? You hate rich people. You think rich people are holding you down and controlling your life, so you running away from being broke and you stuck in the middle. We have to change. We have to understand if we apply discipline to it, we can see that change. Stop expecting God to answer prayers where you're not prepared to take action. You want God to help your life get better, you ain't willing to pick up a book and learn nothing better. You ain't willing to take a look at what you've been doing for the last 20 years to know that companies are treating that like a bachelor's or a master's degree. You've been working in freaking food service for 20 years, 25 years. And you're like, God, I wish I could make more money. And there are companies out there right now paying 2, 3 times what you make for somebody who got his bachelor's degree in experience. Your experience is a bachelor's degree. I know how to actually order food. I know what it takes to prepare for the next week. I know what it takes to write a schedule. I know these things. I don't need to be taught this. I helped build the system that you just bought to run your company. I've been using it for years, ordering food for McDonald's. What I'm saying to you is this: stop expecting for those outside of you to care about you more than you care about you. You don't wake up for you on your days off. You only wake up to go to work. You don't wake up, you don't spend time on you when it's your time. You spend time helping other people get rich. I'm not perfect. I can tell you because I've done it. I've walked into a job and told them, y'all should pay me more money because this is how much money this company makes. And the manager looked at me and was like, man, who do you think you are? We don't care. Stop, I had to learn to stop counting their money. They don't care. I'm not entitled to any of their money. I'm like, man, we paying you to do a job. It's got a bracket. If you smart enough to know you're not being paid enough, then you smart enough to get your ass another job. Stop sitting around complaining about your pay. Understand your value. Respect your value, and others will respect it as well. This is important, guys. I get it, I'm preaching right now. I get a little heated sometimes. And I get a little heated because I know that I've been there. And I know that there are people there right now. And it's not going to start by looking outside of you and looking at what other people are doing. It's going to start when you start. You have to do it. I'm going to read a couple of these comments. I'm going to go up a little bit. Want Truth says, please talk about pastors that won't baptize unless you join the church. Please, baptism has nothing to do with joining the church. Tyrone Gavin says, preach. Messi OC, I'm listening, my brother. Thank you very much. SB, my boss said the same thing. Everyone is replaceable. Everyone. Even your boss knows, hey, I'm replaceable. I can't be on your side too much. Hey, listen. Hey, look. This is what your boss told you, Messi. Is like, listen. SB, your boss is like, I get it. You know what? You're right. Hey, don't tell nobody I told you this. But everyone's replaceable, including me. I don't own this company. Messi says, I can't work, but your words speak to me. I'm glad I'm able to speak to you. Don't be a hater. Go to work hard. Go to work smart. But come home and work on you. Don't be a hater. It's important for you to go to work and do the work that you're supposed to do, but don't work. I keep getting this man's name wrong. Somebody's gonna have to correct me. It's usually Rich who corrects me. Jim or John Rome, whichever one is his actual name, has a line where he says, never work harder on your job than you do on yourself. That is the whole part of, don't ask somebody to care about your betterment and your growth if you don't. Don't work so hard making their customers happy that you're not working hard enough to make yourself happy. You're not working hard enough to find out what your edification is, where your growth is, where your strength is, where are your principles, where is your discipline, what is your value to yourself. Don't ask somebody else to care more about you than you care about yourself, especially when you're exchanging your time for money. You can't ask them to do it. So you do go to work and you work hard and you do a good job, and then you come home and you work on yourself so that you understand your value, so that when you walk back in that job, it's not about, hey, how much do we have written down in the books for how much we should pay you. It's about, hey, your value has grown, and I don't know if you know it, but we can't pay you what you're worth. That's one of the things that I love about professional sports. Professional sports gives you this raw look at the talent versus the compensation. Nowhere like professional sports do they do it. They make all of these skits and spoofs about if they did it for education. But if you can't take anything away from professional sports, it's entertainment, it makes money. And when the players say, hey, I know how much I'm worth. I know how much I'm worth. Give me my money. Anybody giving you $500 million? Of course they are. You know why? Because they're making $5 billion. They're making $5 billion just off being in the league. We'll give you your cut. What you going, $500 million for the next what? 7 years? Oh, that's pocket change. It's pocket change. I have $500 million tax write-off. I got 3 properties in Oregon that I own worth more than $500 million. Dude, we got money. Trust me when I tell you we have to work hard enough on ourselves to know our worth so that when we go out there and we tell somebody, this is what I'm worth, we believe it. Hey, and that is the confidence of conditioning. When you condition yourself and you prepare yourself and you work on yourself and you grow yourself to the point where you know your value And you know what you bring to the table. So when that bell rings and they say, hey, here's what we're going to do. And you're like, hey, that's not going to work for me. And they were like, well, we can't do any better. He was like, I appreciate the offer. But it doesn't work for what I bring to the table. It doesn't work for what I do. It doesn't account for my capability and my performance, my output, my understanding. I get it. You're saying that the company can't afford it. Then the company can't afford me. I get it. I understand. And I'm not mad at you. Don't ever go to no other job and when they ask you, why do you leave your other company, you make it about the other company. It's not about the other company. It's not about what they did. It's not about the leadership. It's about you. That's exactly what it's about. Guys, thank you very much for being here. I'm not done here yet. I do want to ask if you're in there and you haven't dropped a thumbs up yet, if you would like to, please do. I would appreciate a thumbs up. Just a way to say you've been here, you heard anything, you saw anything that you enjoyed, I appreciate it. Quote of the day, I'm holding on to that. That was Tyrone. Alicia Morrison said, you're an amazing motivational speaker. I appreciate that. Thank you. Tally Gang Entertainment says, all facts, brother. I appreciate that as well. Pat said, hi. Meshi OC, thank you for the thumbs up. Try not to send my camera crazy. I appreciate it. Passionately conveyed, sir. Thank you very much. Guys, thank you very much for being here. I'm on here Monday through Saturday between 4:30 and 6:30 in the morning. The focus is about development and growth, people. It's about discipline. I have a focus on finance. I have a focus on discipline and finance, but any aspect of your life, if you apply discipline and you do it consistently and you do it correctly, you can see growth. You will see success. Success is guaranteed because as you work towards mastery, it's a guarantee along the way you'll achieve a degree of success. So once again, guys, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for stopping in. It's a beautiful Monday. Please head out, enjoy your day, enjoy each other, and be wonderful to each other. Remember, there's confidence in conditioning. Whether you're conditioning yourself or someone else is conditioning you, there's confidence in it. Go out and live within that confidence. Remember, the four pillars of discipline are going to be repetition, patience, consistency, and perseverance. All three of the first ones work on the thing. The last one works on you. And as always, guys, as I head out, thank you for your time. Thank you for your focus. Thank you for your input. It was wonderful this morning. I really appreciate you being here. You helped carry me through this walk. And again, head out to the day. And don't forget, keep showing up, keep blowing up, keep growing up. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.